Libra, welcome to your 5-card movie star spread. As per usual, you can click on the description box below and it'll talk about the significance of the spread as well as the placement of each card. Wow. All right, Libra, we're going to start with the Knight of Pentacles here. You have the Knight of Pentacles in the inverse. This tells me that you are kind of holding back your resources from yourself. Okay. So when I talk about resources, I can talk about actual wealth. Okay. I can talk about health. I can talk about time management. There's also a subset, which is like who you spend your time with. So what I get from this is if we're talking about finances in this read, if this is vocational or financial, it seems to me like you are laying low and flying under the radar right now. You just need a sense of reprieve to recollect yourself and take stock of the resources that you actually have. If we're talking about health, okay, this is you taking time out because you recognize that your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health are all off. Maybe you work in a high stress environment. Maybe you just recently got out of a relationship and you're still trying to equalize and balance out your energies, you know? The devastating part isn't there, just the general maintenance to get yourself back on track, okay? Now, time management. Who you spend your time with and how you spend your time can make or break you. You know, if you have a hobby you really enjoy, you're obviously going to get a lot of fulfillment out of that. If you spend time with people who are just kind of chill and relax, you know, you're obviously going to get something out of that. If you're spending time with people who are very draining and taxing on your energy, and you find yourself, and this happens a lot, find yourself popping off at all the wrong people because of it, you're recognizing that and you're taking the time you need to figure out how to rework your resources. The problem is you don't feel you have all the tools you need to fix these problems when you're done with your reprieve. Okay? So the question is, do you take this time to gather the tools you need, or do you just take this time to relax and get back in there? Because you don't have, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you don't believe you can fix the things that you're taking a reprieve from. You're stepping back because you recognize the need to, but you're like, okay, well, now that I step back, when I get back in there, what do I even do? You know? There's a fear of failure here. And not only is it a fear of failure, there's also a fear of rejection. Like whatever happens just isn't ever really going to be good enough. Like there is no end goal because everything just keeps changing. So, your journey here is the Knight of Swords. Now, the Knight of Swords is the fastest moving knight in the deck. As a matter of fact, if you look at this card, they're moving so fast, the horse looks scared. The horse is like, why are you driving me in this direction? You clearly don't have all the information you need to move forward. There's something not quite right here. You're just charging full speed ahead because you're trying to outrun what? Your shame, your guilt, your humiliation, your pain, maybe? You know? Something happened here that made you recognize that you needed to hold back your resources to rejuvenate. And you don't feel like you can get back in the game, but there's a deadline. You have to get back in the game at some point. You can't hide forever. So your plan is just to charge right in and move as fast as you can. even though there's no personal growth in it. So here, let's go back to the time management. Here you have the time you need to work on self. But somewhere in your mind, you'd much rather check out than put in the shadow work necessary to heal and to figure out what resources you need in order to move in a calmer fashion when you get back to doing whatever it is you're doing and find actual growth and expansion. But if you stay in the energy that you're at right now, where you're just checking out for a certain amount of time, distracting yourself, what's the word I'm looking for here? Disassociation. Okay? If you're not familiar with the term, Google it, YouTube it, take a doctor's word for it, not mine. Disassociation is what people do when they say, I cannot cope with this problem. And it feels like the time that you're taking right now, all of this right here, feels like disassociation. And if that's what happens when you get back into the swing of things, then you will have taken all this time off for nothing. You don't have hope in change, even though you're willing to put in the hard work. You want to leverage your resources differently. You want to put in the hard work, but you don't feel like you alone can make a change. Again, the Two of Pentacles in the inverse and the Magician in the inverse, this is just a lack of confidence. And this is that fear of failure or rejection. And this guy right here, this is the person overcompensating for it. Libra. I'm going to pull 2 more cards here. See if I can get you some advice. Wow. Yeah. So the King of Wands is a very benevolent leader. Okay? He's all about new growth. And he's all about helping others. But if you're going to fall to the wayside, if you're in his kingdom and you're going to fall to the wayside simply because you weren't willing to lift a finger, he'll leave you there. See, the King of Wands is a very benevolent leader, but he only helps people who are willing to contribute and put in the work and also help themselves. The Charioteer has a lot of discipline and knows how to balance energies to move forward. But once that chariot gets going, you do not want to get in front of that cart, because once it gets going, it's very, very difficult to stop. Okay? So, what I get out of this, and if I could leave you with a piece of advice. If you've been acting out of fear, you've been creating fear. It's time to stop that. Okay? It's time to put the right amount of time and effort into people who are also interested in growth. And if you can balance out the energies, your energies, I'm not talking about the group, okay? I'm talking about you. If you can first learn to balance out your energies and move forward, and you can be that fair person who helps people who are willing to put in just a little bit of work move a little bit faster and a little bit easier, then you'll get people to work with you. And you won't have to move this fast. And you won't have to move that slow. You'll find a medium, workable pace that everybody can get comfortable with. So the trick is, Libra, pace yourself. Because this all or nothing isn't working. This full speed ahead all the time isn't doing you any good. Because when you do get the time to step back, you get nothing accomplished in the process. You need a better pace on your on days and on your off days. You need to be a little bit more productive on the off days. I'm sorry, there's some kids outside. And you need to slow down a little bit on the days that you're on. You need to create calm for yourself and a steady pace to move forward. And if you can't do that, you'll never create calm and a steady pace for people to follow you. I hope you found a message that serves your highest good, and I'll see you next time.